Excuse me.
Hi, welcome to the FAB Podcast, the monthly show for women in the sports business.
Hello, I'm Chris Stafford, the executive producer here at WiSP Sports Radio, and I am delighted to be welcoming the FAB Podcast girls here from Michigan to start their new podcast all about the women in the sports business. This is something, of course, we're delighted here at WiSP to be covering because it's important that we cover every conversation around the world of women's sports, and there are so many more women coming into the business of sports. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in our host for today, that is Toria Robinson and Kristin Reinders, and I think, Tori, you're going to kick off the show, so a very big welcome from us here at WiSP Sports, and the very best of luck.
Thank you so much for the welcome, Chris. We are so excited to have WiSP Sports partner with us to bring you this podcast. Hello and welcome to the FAB Podcast. I'm Toria Robinson. I'm a proud graduate of Grand Valley State University, where I studied sports management and I was a member of the cheer team, and I previously served as the athletic merchandise and licensing coordinator. Currently, I'm finishing my final semester of graduate school while I'll graduate with a master's in sports administration this May. In addition, I also work in athletics at the University of Detroit Mercy. So as you can see, I'm constantly around sports, and that passion started when I was a little girl who really wanted to play football. I took this passion and used it as motivation to get involved with sports, and I was able to gain experience in collegiate and professional athletics. Sports has a way of connecting people from all over who share a common interest, and whether it's specific to a sports team or just a specific sport. But no matter what, I'm so excited to have FAB here to continue these connections as we all grow, learn, and share together. I'm Tori, one of your hosts of the FAB Podcast.
And welcome, everyone. My name is Kristin Reinders, the other host of the FAB Podcast, and I am so excited to be hosting with Tori. I graduated from Central Michigan in May of 2016, where I studied business and double majored in marketing and logistics management. I was also on the Central Michigan volleyball team, Fire Up Chips. And currently, I work for a marketing agency in Grand Rapids, Michigan called Reagan Marketing and Design. Although I'm not in the sports industry, I'm extremely passionate about sports and others' love for sports and the business behind it all. Playing college volleyball gave me a ton of insight on how much goes on in the sports industry just on a college level. You have the marketing department, the logistics of the game, the communications department, sales department, and administration, just to name a few. Although that's just the collegiate industry, I cannot wait to dig more into the aspects of the sports biz with you. I think FAB is a great way to connect women sports lovers who want to gain knowledge, network, and be in the sports industry. We want to give a huge thank you to our podcast sponsor, It's On, for making our podcast possible. It's On is a lifestyle and apparel brand devoted to motivating players and people to achieve through hard work, dedication, discipline, and effort. Never forget where you came from and never stop believing in where you're going. It's On currently sells different types of t-shirt designs to rep your city. Make sure to check out their website at itsoneverywhere.com and follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at It's On Everywhere.
So what better way to debut the FAB Podcast than to introduce our first guest, the strong woman in sports behind Females in Athletic Business, Kristin Ray. Kristin, it's so exciting to have you on as our first guest. I've been a member of FAB since I began my career in sports, and I've learned so much under your leadership. Kristin holds a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the sports industry, and if our listeners are anything like myself and Kristin, we would love to get inside your brain and learn more about your experiences, the creation of FAB, and its impact on strong women in sports. Welcome, Kristin.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so proud to, have this be our first episode. I'm proud to be a part of it, and I can't wait to see where this will take FAB, which, by the way, is our acronym for our organization called Females in Athletic Business.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kristin. And I guess we'll just start out by you telling us a little bit about FAB and what experiences led you to form FAB.
Yeah, so it was I've had an interesting journey in working in this industry already. I'm in, I guess, my third position, you'd say, working in the sports industry. And the experiences that kind of got me to wanting to create FAB and this podcast would be, first and foremost, that I am, at the ripe age of 32 and already have my dream job. And I really wanted to make sure that there that every woman who has a passion for sports has a way, has a direction, and has the resources needed to put their passion for sports to work for them. So that's kind of where it really started in terms of trying to create an organization to do that. I started in the hospitality industry selling in the sports market, and there are so many organizations that support people working in the hospitality industry, especially there are a couple for women as well. And when I got into working into specifically more the sports side, so when I started working for Michigan State University or Anthony Travel, I realized there wasn't really that organization that supported women specifically in the sports industry, and thought that's a hole, and I wonder if I could fill it. So I also had really good mentorship from women in my first couple of jobs, and really thought, gosh, if I could possibly provide that for the younger women that are coming into the sports industry, and kind of combine that with the fact that there is that hole in that market, that would be an amazing thing for women coming into the industry, but also support, the women that are already in the industry. And I've just been so inspired by both the people who have mentored me already in my career, and also the amazing young women like the two of you who I've gotten to know, who are trying to put their passion to work for them as well. And so I wanted to kind of combine all of that. And then I think the last thing, you guys, was that I've been kind of basically broke a couple times, already in my young career. I mean, student loans and, maybe not one of my passions is negotiating salaries, and we'll talk about that probably in future episodes, but I didn't do that in my first couple of jobs, and I really regretted it. So between those two things, I know that girls are looking for the mentorship. I know that experienced women in the sports industry are looking to be mentors. I'm looking for support in terms of, career growth and things like that. And I just tried to find an organization, create an organization that provided everything I was looking for, because I know other women must be looking for it too. And, oh, by the way, have it be free or really cheap. And so that's kind of where FAB started.
Awesome. I love it. Go ahead, Tori.
No, I was agreeing. That's awesome, especially like knowing like what went into your thought process when you thought about the creation of FAB. And it's so funny that you touch on like being broke. I think that's like the hidden thing behind, working in this industry is, the dollar signs aren't the first thing that pop out, but it's just having that passion and gaining that experience as well, and the importance of having mentors. But what inspired you to introduce a podcast? Like, of all things, what triggered the idea?
That's a good question. It's something that I thought about early on, but not being very tech savvy myself, I was kind of I knew at some point if I grew this enough that the right person would come along that would have the knowledge and the ability to make it happen. It happened to be Chris with WiSP Sports. So having her come to me and say, like, we can make your vision happen was amazing timing, amazing luck. And I'm so grateful for that connection. The point of this podcast for me would be to make sure that everyone anywhere in the world can get just become familiar with what FAB is about and what FAB has to offer, because right now we're at 450 members worldwide, 3 countries and 23 states in the U.S. And while I'm really proud of that, I know that there are more women than that who can use what we have to offer. So I'm really excited about the podcast being a free and easy way to make that happen for everybody who's interested, and not just the people who we geographically can physically reach at this point in our organization's maturity. And I really hope that those opportunities and the information, the knowledge that we share on our website and in our free monthly newsletter can happen for everyone who's looking for it. And I know that my passion for the podcast especially would be to have every woman who wants to be heard and supported in our industry have an outlet for kind of what they're experiencing and what's happening in their daily realm of working in sports business.
That is awesome to hear how much that FAB has grown just over the short time that it's been a part of an organization. I think that's just so incredible, Kristin.
I'm really proud of it. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So what is your vision for FAB in general in the future? I mean, you've already mentioned how much it's grown and how many countries you're in. That is so awesome. But where do you really want to see that next step, that next level?
Well, I'm hoping that through this podcast and through getting FAB out there, that in the immediate future we can maybe get into 30 or 40 states just in the next couple of months. And if you're listening out there and you're interested in becoming a member of FAB and upping that number and representing your state in females in athletic business, it's free to join our organization, which is where that whole I felt broke thing came in. I want everyone to be able to access this. And you can check us out on our website, which I'm sure we'll give you at the end of the show as well. But it is fabsportsorg.com. And like I said, you can join for free there. And so our goal is to be in every state in the union, maybe by the end of the year, but just in the next couple of months. My goal for the future would be to get into 30 or 40 states. I also have a goal of having self-sustaining, what I'm calling farm clubs in the near future, so that there is a leader in the states that we have a lot of members in, so that they can have their own kind of self-sustained, like I said, FAB franchise or farm club, so that they can start to produce events and networking opportunities that are most relevant to them in their geographic region. So many of our members are in Michigan right now because that's where we're started, but I want to make sure that there are actual tangible things that can help the women in every state that we have. So I'm hoping that is one of the steps we can make in the future. And I also really want to grow the mentor aspect of the organization so that students and young professionals alike can capitalize on the wisdom of the FAB members that are so experienced. And I know that our veteran members that have joined us in this organization want to give back. So I want to make sure that we're matching the amazing women who have been in this industry for so many years with the young women who are craving that knowledge.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is like speechless.
Like even down to like having a person in each state is like, because it basically like branches off and gives everyone, people that piece of belonging, or that piece, like they have that input to kind of put their twist and everything into growing FAB, which I think is outstanding. Excuse me.
Yeah. Well, and I know that there are probably different struggles that women like us in the Midwest are dealing with in this industry. I'm sure there are different things that women in the South are dealing with. And I have no idea what women in Europe in the sports industry are dealing with, because, it's over there, it's cricket and soccer and things that we, don't necessarily delve into all the time in America as much as they do in Europe. So I know that there are so many different voices that will have something to lend to this conversation.
Absolutely. So, Kristin, and for our viewers out there listeners out there who follow us on social media or even follow the hashtag Strong Women in Sports, Kristin, explain to us what inspired you to carry on that hashtag of Strong Women in Sports.
Well, I was just trying to figure out what few words would most identify who I thought our members want to be. And I identify myself as strong, a woman, and in sports. And when you put all of those things together, I think it involves so much more to be a strong woman in sports than just being strong or being a woman or working in sports. So I wanted it to kind of encompass all the things that we have to be successful in this industry, as well as being a couple of words thrown together that really made you identify with it and proud of it and want to hashtag it. So that's where I came up with hashtag Strong Women in Sports. You can change it if you want, if you're just talking about yourself, to Strong Woman in Sports. But be creative with how you use it, because there are so many ways to kind of welcome someone into our realm by maybe hashtagging them as a strong woman in sports, or there's just so many ways to use it. Like I said, I'm not as tech savvy as probably most of our listeners, but it's the hashtag that I most identified with when I was thinking of them. So
great.
It's so impactful too. I remember my first time seeing the hashtag, seeing FAB post that hashtag. It was actually on National Signing Day, which is the first Wednesday in February. For those who do not know, it's my favorite holiday. And the person at our university at that time who was doing our compliance was a woman. And so we tweeted a picture and I was like, oh, we should probably do Strong Women in Sports. I saw it on FAB. And then I clicked on it and I saw like all of FAB's like posts about Strong Women in Sports. And it was just amazing. So.
Well, I'm glad it was effective and appealed to you. That's exactly what it was designed to do. So.
All right. That's so awesome. And like Tori was saying too, when I first saw FAB on Twitter, I saw Strong Women in Sports and I was like, wow, like I really want to be a part of this organization. I think it means so much more on a level of just like people connecting in sports, and we have a lot in common. And I think that's awesome. Mm-hmm. But I guess for our viewers or our listeners out there, who all can benefit from what FAB has to offer? What are some of the events and some of the things that FAB does, just to kind of fill our listeners in?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I mean, obviously, if you're a lady and you're sports minded and you want to work in sports potentially, or you already are, then already you're super qualified to be in FAB. Mm-hmm. But I think going into it deeper, I want to make sure that this is women who are wanting to cultivate their career in sports, whether it's the very first time they're thinking about it or if they've been in the industry for 30 years. We always have something to offer for both kind of both ends of that spectrum. And that's something we really, really strive to do in every event, every newsletter, all the content we have on the internet is all meant to be all inclusive no matter what part of your career you're in. And we also have, like I said, we have a free newsletter that comes out via email. And again, once you signed up for free on our website, that's when you'll begin to receive the newsletter, which features events around our country. And actually, we've showcased events in Canada and Europe as well, to make sure that no matter where you're located as a FAB member, there are relevant events that are showing up on our newsletter. There are also relevant events showing up on our events page too. And they might be networking events. They might be job fairs. They might be more educational things where you can grow your career. So there's something for everyone in terms of literally cultivating your career on the website and in the newsletter. And we'll also be showcasing things like that, obviously, in this podcast, which we're really excited about. And like I said, this is something that anyone in any kind of financial situation can take advantage of because it is free to join. We have events in our Michigan area. That's the only events that FAB has hosted of yet. Like I mentioned, because so many of our members are located in Michigan. Like I said, it's also our goal to kind of create that web to be much more broad so that all of our members have FAB events to go to. But for right now, like I mentioned, most of our events are happening in Michigan. But our events are meant to showcase really experienced speakers in all parts of the industry. We have a lot of skill training. So if you're looking maybe to get in on the sales end of the sports industry, we're going to feature different ways to focus your sales skills, or maybe you're just trying to decide if there is a specific part of the industry that you're interested in. We've got ways on the internet or at our events to figure out, kind of hone your skills to whatever part of the industry might be best for you. So FAB really is for everyone. Everyone can benefit if you're looking to enter the sports industry. So I encourage all of you, whether you're just kind of touching your toe into whether you want to be in this industry or if you're a hard veteran who's been in it for a while, there is something in this podcast in the future and in our organization for you. So check us out. It's definitely something for everyone.
Definitely. And there also are the career and focus too. So people who don't know about all the jobs that are in, the athletic business, they can always see that part of the newsletter too and see, oh, wow, you can do this in sports. So there are so many ways to get involved in sports too.
That's one of my biggest passions in working with FAB so far is making sure that there are so many options for everybody based on their talents. I mean, my first 2 jobs in the sports industry, I didn't even know existed. And so, I mean, working in hospitality sales, but selling to athletic teams was something I didn't know existed until I was working at, the front desk of our hotel. And I had no idea what I wanted to do. I just knew I could work at a hotel, and I was succeeding at that, and found out there was a woman who was selling at our hotel to the sports industry. She took me under her wing, and when she moved on from that, I threw myself into the ring for that job, and I had no idea that was a job. And then my second job was working as a travel agent for a Big Ten university for their athletic department. And again, I had no idea that someone did that every day. So there's so much value into finding out more options in the sports industry than just journalism, or just being a GM, or just being in operations, which are kind of the fancier, more well-known aspects of our industry that a lot of girls want to work in. And while that's really valuable to have something that so many girls are interested in, also that means there's less opportunity. So if you can branch out your passion and your interest and your talents into finding what other options are out there, that is a huge, huge opportunity that people maybe not invested in this organization or like organizations would have.
That is awesome. So what are some things that current and new members, which are the members who are going to join after they listen to this podcast, because it's free and it's an awesome organization, what are some things that they can expect from FAB in the future that you can tell us?
So specifically, I'll start with what to expect from this podcast in the future, because I think that's important for people who are listening right now. I want to shine light on portions of our industry that we believe women will excel in. So there are certain parts of working in this industry that women are going to kind of kick butt at, maybe more in general than men. And so I'm going to shine some light on that to make sure that we are excelling in the places that we will be especially good in. I also want to talk about topics that affect women in every industry, but maybe especially in the sports industry. Things like gender communication, things like sexual harassment in the workplace, which I know is a really hot topic right now. Salary negotiation, just to mention a few. I think that women have opportunities in all 3 of those areas, as well as a million other areas, to kind of make sure that they're supporting each other, that we're shattering that glass ceiling that's still there. So I want to make sure we're covering those topics as well. And hopefully I want to start showcasing some great HR tips, some human resources tips to help each other get our first job, our next job, our dream job. Because there are so many things that I know just from having a couple of friends in HR in the sports industry that if we can kind of really hone in on, that FAB members will be the most hireable in our industry. So I'm excited about that. And just in general in FAB, I'm really just looking forward to kind of solidifying our membership, but also growing it so that we all feel like we are supported by each other in our network for whatever it might be, whether it be you're looking for a job opportunity or maybe you're looking to hire someone. I want everyone in this organization to be the first people that we go to when we have a need, whether it be career counseling or, like I said, job opportunities. These should be the most qualified, most excited, most passionate women in sports, and I want to bring us all together.
Awesome. Kristin, I can't thank you enough for joining us today and being our first guest ever on the FAB podcast. I'm so excited to see what 2018 brings for FAB and this podcast, and honestly, the world in general. I'm excited for this year. I think it'll be great.
I think there's it's only going up from here. There's so much happening good for women in our industry. I noticed a couple of things that were a little disturbing today on Twitter in terms of women in our industry and how they're still getting treated. So I really want to make sure that FAB is able to put our industry and our women in our industry's best foot forward on behalf of all of them. And the women in this industry just inspire me so much. And I can't wait to hopefully represent all of you in a way that make you all proud.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Kristin.
You're so welcome. Thank you for being a part of this, and thanks for having me today.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. You've been listening to the FAB Podcast, a co-production of Females in Athletic Business and WiSP Sports. For more conversations from the world of women, including articles, blogs, videos, and podcast sports, visit www.wisports.com and follow us on social media at WiSP Sports and at FabSports.org. WiSP Sports Radio is the world's largest podcast network for women's sports with more than 750 episodes across 30 shows and a global audience of 1.5 million. Download to your podcast player and apps such as iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, Overcast, and Google Play today.
And make sure to visit Females in Athletic Business at www.fabsportsorg.com. And thanks again to our sponsor, It's On, a lifestyle and apparel brand devoted to motivating players and people to achieve through hard work, dedication, discipline, and effort. Never forget where you came from and never stop believing in where you're going. Be sure to visit them online at it'soneverywhere.com. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next month with another episode of the FAB Podcast.